On-campus dental clinic provides routine cleaning, cosmetic treatments, and clear aligners to faculty, staff, and students. Caleb, a busy library at Georgia Southern University has been home for the last week to many restless students trying to get prepared for midterms. Nearly 200,000 cans of Target Good and Gather canned vegetables have been recalled. It is necessary to bring awareness to those who get overlooked in their daily duties. Immigration officials say a man was illegally in the U.S. is now jailed in the connection with the murder of a Cobb County woman. This happened before Columbia County Deputy Brendan Skies was shot and killed in a traffic stop on Saturday. Aiden, Caleb, a busy library at Georgia Southern University has been home for the last week to many restless students trying to get prepared for midterms. Even nervous jitters as students prepare to take these tests. But the University Programming Board is trying to help.
Georgia Southern UPB gave students a chance to eat and unwind during their annual Carnival of Distress event on Thursday. The event was originally planned for Wednesday, was postponed due to Thursday due to bad weather, but that did not stop over 100 students from coming to participate in the activities. Students were given a voucher for a meal from the Saucy Truck or a snow cone from Big Dog Snow Cones and could make fragrance patches provided by UPB.
This kind of helps because it's a nice day outside. You know, I got free food, I made a little crab, and it's kind of just helping me, like, you know, like recenter before I have to go and study.
It hasn't been all rest and recharge for Georgia Southern students, however. Some students have spent as much as 5 hours per day in the library this week as they get ready for their multiple midterms. Students I spoke with had as many as 4 midterms coming up before spring break. Some students said that the stress of their upcoming test has affected their day-to-day life, and despite studying, they are not confident about midterms.
Lack of sleep, just looking real tired, kind of like get a little sweaty just thinking about it. Just kind of pacing around, like help me clear my head.
Despite all of the stress of midterms, the thought of spring break gives Gillespie and other students the energy to push through. The second floor of the library was very busy on Thursday, with most tables taken for individual study and group study between friends and classmates. Georgia Southern has their spring break from March 17th through the 21st.
According to Research.com, 31% of U.S. students report finals and midterms as their biggest source of stress, with 57.8% of students reporting either more than average stress or tremendous stress. Aiden, Caleb, back to you. Aiden, Kira, government agencies such as FEMA have been in and out of town over the last 6 months offering assistance to those impacted, but not everyone has gotten the help they need yet.
A bigger than expected turnout kept officials busy at the FEMA Housing Fair in Statesboro. The event on Friday and Saturday gave residents of Bullock, Emanuel, Screven, Evans, Candler, and Jenkins counties a chance to be paired with federal agencies and local resources for housing assistance.
Due to the flooding and those types of issues, it's causing backup in the flooding, backup in sewage, things like that. And so basically, I was more looking for assistance in relocation.
It wasn't just FEMA here. At the FEMA Housing Fair, the Small Business Administration, Department of Agriculture, American Red Cross, and a few more. The biggest reason for the housing fair was to give residents a chance to sit down and talk to a real person instead of having to communicate over the phone or online.
Housing is a big one, of course, but you also have food assistance you need, right? You're going to need access with childcare. You may have been relocated to a new school district.
Others are dealing with insurance companies canceling policies because of all the flooding.
The same insurance that dropped us came back 2 weeks later with a triple quote.
One of FEMA's functions is to fill the gaps left by insurance companies. Those residents were from the Pulaski Point subdivision that got hit hard with flooding all 3 times last fall. And media like WSAV have covered its struggles for months. A creek that runs behind some of the properties crested over its banks multiple times, not something FEMA can help with. And it's taken 6 months to get the county to call in the Federal Army Corps of Engineers. And even after a March 13th meeting, it's still unclear if they can stem the flooding in the future.
Despite the February 7th application deadline for FEMA assistance in Georgia, it may not be too late to get help. There's a 60-day grace period for survivors, but you must explain that you missed the deadline. Kira, Aiden, back to you.
Coming up on Eagle News, federal employees could be fired if they are unable to justify their jobs. And
Statesboro community members got their hands dirty for a good cause. I'm Daisy Davis, and today I'll be talking to tree board members and others about why Arbor Day is important. Coming up on Eagle News.
Georgia Southern looks forward to a day of giving to support academics and athletics.
Good morning. I'm Caleb Cook with Eagle News. Today is Tuesday, February 25th.
And I'm Kira Dorsey, reporting live from Sanford Hall at Georgia Southern University.
A Georgia congressman got an unpleasant earful at his town hall meeting in Roswell last week. And then it happened in Wisconsin and then Oklahoma.
Unhappy constituents want answers about the mass firings and decimation of the federal workforce, and they want to know how far they're going to let it go on. From Wisconsin to Oklahoma to Georgia, voters gave their congressman hell for the conduct of the president. One of the more troubling displays by the White House last week was Trump intimating that he is king, and his press office following up with an image of it.
What you, congressmen, and your fellow congressmen are going to do to rein in the megalomaniac in the White House.
When you talk about tyranny, when you talk about presidential power, I remember having the same discussion with Republicans when Biden was elected.
The complaints and criticism dealt largely with the rash firings that sometimes backfired on the Trump administration in chaotic fashion. Others are concerned that Congress is losing its power to Trump, and the Oklahoma congressman had a hard time explaining why he hasn't asked for more White House accountability.
And by the way, to hold the executive branch accountable, that's what the judicial branch is for. You saw both
Equal branches of power.
Sure, and that's what the judiciary is for, is to make sure that they're following.
President Trump hasn't publicly addressed the backlash in these districts, but he did revel in Elon Musk's mass firings during the Conservatives' convention on Saturday.
We fought through hell together, but in the end we achieved the great liberation of America. We're liberating our country right now. We're doing all these things that you're reading about.
Other worries among citizens are veterans' benefits, Medicaid, and even Social Security, since no one, not even Trump, has guaranteed a hands-off approach to those programs. Charlotte County Congressional Representative, Republican Rick Allen, has yet to hold a town hall since Trump returned to the White House. Allen's town halls are held by telephone, not in person.
Federal workers are getting one more chance to justify their jobs. That's what Elon Musk said last night following 3 days of total confusion and mixed messages. Musk's original order was to respond to his email by Monday, or he would consider the lack of response a resignation. Federal workers were supposed to explain what work they had performed the previous week. Even some Trump loyalists in the cabinet told their employees to ignore the order, and then Trump waffled 3 or 4 times between supporting Musk, then not supporting him. Musk said last night that at the discretion of the president there would be a new deadline, but he did not say when. On Monday, Starbucks announced over 1,100 corporate jobs would be cut. CEO Brian Niccol announced that not only will Starbucks be cutting jobs, but will also reduce menu options by about 30% over the next few months. Items such as a Royal English breakfast latte and white hot chocolate will soon be unavailable to customers due to their complex nature and lack of popularity. This move is made in an effort to streamline things, and impacted employees will be informed of changes by the end of the week. Niccol also mentioned that the company will still hire positions that fit the company's new structure and add jobs when needed.
The state of Georgia is one step closer to limiting jury awards and injury lawsuits. Governor Kemp says it's needed tort reform to set stricter standards when property owners are sued for injuries on their property. Supporters argued on Friday that it's also supposed to allow baseless cases to be dismissed early to avoid expensive pretrial preparation. Kemp calls it a crisis when jurors award plaintiffs millions of dollars. But that's not what some consumer advocates believe.
What we're seeing here isn't about fixing a broken system. It's about creating a manufactured crisis to justify stripping away consumer protections.
The vote was 33-21, right along party lines, and Senate Bill 68 moves on to the House for further debate. Germany's moderate conservative leader appears to be the new chancellor after the election on Sunday. Germans cast their ballots after 3 months after the incumbent chancellor lost a confidence vote, and he lost this election to Friedrich Merz. It's expected that the Christian Democratic Union will become the country's largest political party again, but not far behind in this election was the extremist right party, signaling a first in more than 80 years that a Nazi party has gained that much ground in a German vote.
Georgia's education department is actively recruiting new teachers based on a recent study about teacher burnout. Under the new Teach in the Peach campaign, the state wants to attract quality teachers, so it's promising several things to avoid teacher burnout: reducing the stress of student testing, protecting their time for preparation and grading, and offering free mental health and legal assistance, among other things. Grammy winner Roberta Flack died on Monday at her home in New York City. Her first dream was to be a concert pianist, but her velvety voice and lyrics are what made her a star. She had hit songs in the 1970s, such as The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face and Killing Me Softly with his song. Her publicist said she died from Lou Gehrig's disease. Roberta Flack was only 88 years old. Still to come on Eagle News, where can you find the cheapest eggs in Statesboro? We have the answer.
And we'll tell you how you can get tax-free income help starting next week.
Statesboro community members got their hands dirty for a good cause. I'm Daisy Davis, and today I'll be talking to tree board members and others about why Arbor Day is important. Coming up on Eagle News.
But before we go to break, here's your factoid question of the day. How many states is Georgia bordered by? We'll have the answer when we come back.